And I also want to just flip it around now and talk about how do we deal with criticism that might be in our heart. All of us have criticism in some way or another, and I want to touch quickly on 3 points about how do we deal with criticism in our hearts. And the first thing is that we have to understand that criticism is rooted in pride. Because criticism is actually us judging a person. And what we are saying is that I know better. I know that you shouldn't have done that. I'm the one who understands. I mean, if you think about the word food critic, when we think about people who go to restaurants and assess foods, what they're saying is, my value, my opinion is of great value. And it's actually rooted in pride. And when someone is a critic who's able to, even have a YouTube channel where they discuss and talk about, all the different pastors and what they've done wrong and this and that, they've actually elevated themselves and saying, well, I'm an expert in this field. And it's rooted in pride. And it's not from God, my friend. The second thing is that we need to understand that God responds to faith, not criticism. He's looking for faith in our lives. Notice that Jesus didn't respond to the critics. He responded to Mary and Martha in the situation. That he went and he talked with Mary, and Mary's love for Jesus was what moved Jesus when he wept to actually raise Lazarus from the dead. He didn't respond to Lazarus out of a place of, well, let me deal with these critics. No, he ignored the critics. He didn't have time for them. And my friend, that's what you have to realize, is that when you have criticism in your heart, it's not going to move God. But when you have faith in your heart, that's what moves him. And so instead of having criticism, we need to pursue more of Jesus, have more faith. Lastly, we need to address issues in people's lives with the view to restore. Can you imagine God in heaven criticizing? Just think about that for a moment. Can you imagine God criticizing? Can you imagine sitting there with Jesus at his right hand and saying, you know what, Jesus, this guy Steve, he's bad. Have you seen what he did? He's done this, he's done that, he's done that. And all he does is just offloads to Jesus, and then the angels come and, Gabriel, I was just really thinking about Steve today. I really think he could have done this better. He could have done that better. Can you imagine God doing that? No, it's not in his character. And yet we take that on. Who is the accuser of the brethren? It's Satan. So a critic is closer to camping in the Satan's kingdom than in God's kingdom. What is God's perspective? Does he ignore it? No. But when he deals with something, he comes alongside you and he says, you know what, Steve, you need to deal with this issue in your heart. And he brings conviction into my life with a view of restoring me, with the view of saying, Steve, you're better than that. Steve, I want to forgive you. I want to help you in this area. I want you to move on. And when we deal with people who we have a disagreement about what they should have done in that situation, or, we don't think that they did this right, our heart is to come alongside them and speak to them with a voice of reason, with a voice of restoration, with a voice of love and forgiveness. So we're not doing it from a place of unforgiveness, we're doing it from a place where we have already forgiven them in our hearts, but we're wanting to see them prosper. We're wanting to see them do better. So criticism is actually at the root of it, a breaking down, whereas conviction is addressing a thing to build a person up. And so I want to encourage you that whether it's criticism that you face in your life or whether it's a heart of criticism in your life, we need to deal with criticism. It's not of God. And we need to make sure that our lives are free of it, that we're free from the fear of man. We are free to follow Jesus and to love him. So thank you, my friends, for joining us. God bless you. And if this has been a blessing to you, please will you share with friends and subscribe to our YouTube channel or to our WhatsApp group. And it's so good to have you with us. God bless you.